This week you're going to be focusing on searching for a job, writing a resume, and filling out a W-4 form. We're not going to talk about the W-4 form here because the work you're going to do through Blackboard is pretty straightforward. Also, you're not going to be writing a cover letter this week, but I am going to talk about it today. So the first thing you have to think about, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a job now? Or are you going to be looking for a job soon that you want to work one afternoon a week or just on weekends? And maybe it's fine for you to get a job at CVS or Chili's or a local restaurant, and you don't mind what you're doing. As with those kind of jobs, it's the same with professional jobs. When you guys get out of high school or college, connections often make the difference. And what's interesting is that research shows it's not your friend that gets you a job, it's a friend of a friend. So start with if you're doing a restaurant, start with your friends and talk to them about, are they happy in their job? Or do they have reasonable bosses? And talk to a couple people and then go in and see what you need to do to apply. Often those kind of entry-level jobs, you can just type into a computer when you get there, or you can even fill in online, and you're going to then go in and do a quick interview. But for other jobs, you're going to, in life, have to find them. You're going to have to do searches online, extensive ones. You're going to have to talk to people in the industry, and that's where the secondary friends are going to make a big help to you. Because if, say, you have a friend's parent who works in an industry you want to work in, think about doing it in summer. Think about going and talking to that person, maybe a winter break or early in the spring, about do they have internships. And many internships are actually paid. They can be full-time and part-time, like 20, 30 hours a week. And even though you're in high school, and even though it may not be exciting, maybe a clerical job or some kind of entry-level job in that industry is going to lead to connections, again, friends of friends, who would then lead to something more meaty, if you will, that more enjoyable that you could do when you're in college. But it's never too early to start talking to people, even to help you think about what kind of a major you're going to have in college. When you are looking, in addition to those kind of ways, you can also go on to websites such as CareerBuilder or Monster.com, which are going to help you find jobs. You can also do searches of companies or nonprofits or whatever industry you're looking for online and go to their own websites. And they often will, well, they always will list their jobs, and go through them and apply. Before you can apply, you're going to have to write what's known as a cover letter. Certainly not if you're going to be a hostess in a restaurant short term, but if you're going to be doing a regular internship or you're going to be applying for a regular job, you need to think about what matches you and what often is not in the resume. And you need to make it short and to the point. It's always less than a page. I've read, gosh, probably thousands of them now. And I'm almost less interested, frankly, in a cover letter than I am in the resume. But I'm looking for something that's going to immediately set the person apart and give me something that's going to then make me want to go to the resume as well. And so here you have some tips that you want to include. Uh, above all and everything else, it has to be well written. It has to be free of grammar mistakes. Silly as it sounds, that's going to turn off an employer, because more important than the job is getting the job. And if you're not going to take the time to send out a perfect resume, it says a lot about what you might do in the job. So stop this right now and then look at the tips and try, even where it says Dear Hiring Manager, to find out exactly whom, if possible, you're applying to. When I get people looking to be teachers, say at Hayfield, and it says Dear Administrator, that means a lot less than when it actually has my personal name. So think about these tips in the cover letter. And then you have to write the resume. So what I'm going to do is change screens here and go here. Oops, sorry. And go through some of these. First of all, there is no perfect resume. There are, however, the ones that are best are visually appealing right away and don't look like a mess. So you do want to think about font and format. There are a lot of online ones that are becoming very cool where you can have your picture, you can have a little video, and depending on your industry or whether or not that's appropriate, you might actually think of it in the future or do both. Because, for example, someone like myself who likes online technology would definitely go clip on that. When I see teachers who send it to me that have a web page, I always go there. I want to see what kind of talent they can put in. And again, I'm looking for presentation first. So you want to follow these: your name, your address, etc. An objective is important but not vital. It's become less important over time. But for the jobs you're kind of looking for, you're talking 1 or 2 lines, and they're always quick, even for someone who's been going. And then job experience, and they too, people who are looking at these things do want to see it in chronological order with the most recent on top. They also want to see why there are gaps in space. So, for example, my wife has been out of the work world for pay for a while now, and so she's going to have to put a lot of the things that she's done not for pay, being community association president, her doing Girl Scouts, doing raising money for different nonprofits, even on a part-time basis, and that says that she's not been, I don't know, in prison or something like that. This is not bad advice. When you're younger, you want to have it shorter. You do want to, I think, create something that your own template. I agree with this. However, there are lots of templates out there, and if you start with one, you want to make it a little bit unique to yourself so that it's not one that is going to come across as just some form that someone's filled out and done quickly because they don't care about this job. I like this one, using the white space to draw attention to something. Keywords means what are the kind of words that were used in the ad. If you just send them any old resume, that's less important than if you kind of tailor it exactly to what the writer of the ad wants. And that's also why you write the cover letter, so you can highlight 3 or 4 of the things that they're looking for very quickly to make them want to go to the cover letter. Including relevant work experience is very important. You know, when I was younger, I broke the rule of the 1 page or 2 page because I include a lot of little things that I thought were important, but now I realize weren't, and were not skills that the job employers really cared about. So think about that. Bullet points are always a nice way to draw attention. Also, try not to, if you're going to write more than a couple lines, try to be consistent. Maybe a couple lines is a good way to think about it. Put your accomplishments, but again, chronological order. Education is always short in most cases. You know, for someone like me in the education field, it's more important, but even I, with several degrees, have it down in about 4 lines because it's less important than what have you actually done. Hobbies, unless it's something unusual, you know, maybe you ran a marathon, that's pretty cool. You might want to put that in there. Generally, references, often people bring that to an interview. It's not going to get you in the job unless you have Barack Obama on there or someone really important in your industry that you know they're going to be impressed with. And I already said the chronological order. And that's pretty much all the tips you want to do. As you saw in here, if you want to go there, I have all those tips on a bit.ly site. You just type that address in and you're going to get it. So that's it. Looking for a job, connections, writing a cover letter, and writing the resume are the important things to think about this week.